Okay, so we've moved on to one of AIX's standout stands normally, the Panasonic stand, Panasonic Avionics. It's one of the bigger ones. No, it's one of the bigger ones, and it's one of the ones that's got a lot of tech involved. It's always fun to come and join the Panasonic guys. I'm joined by Ken Sain, who's the Chief Executive of Panasonic Avionics.
Pleased to have you.
Ken, good to see you again for our annual visit to your stand. This morning you did quite a big run through of the latest developments regarding Panasonic and your screens, the rollout, etc. We won't go through all that in detail, but there were some standout elements that you talked about. One in particular was you talked about the rollout of the Astrova screens, which you launched maybe 2 years ago, was it? Or 3 years ago?
3 years ago, but then we kept launching more screens for the entire portfolio.
So this continues to be historically the biggest rollout of new seatback technology.
Successful IFE system launch in history by a factor of 3.3 times.
Okay.
So significant.
Yeah, so that's been a real success.
Yes, it has.
What you did touch on, as aircraft become more connected, as LEO networks become more used, I think Starlink was mentioned, what does that mean for the use of these screens for the customer?
Yeah.
And you actually did some research on this. So talk us through what the research found.
Certainly. I've heard a lot of different comments and opinions about, well, once we add great, LEO service to an airplane, that the use of the screens is going to reduce.
Yeah.
And even some people saying obsolete.
Yeah.
And so we actually conducted the first study of what happens to seatback passenger engagement after you add a terrific LEO connectivity solution.
Yeah.
And we did it, a large-scale study, that involved over 1 million passengers across a bunch of aircraft that used to have connectivity and a seatback screen, and then were upgraded to having a LEO connectivity. In this case, Starlink.
It was Starlink.
Starlink, along with the same seatback screens.
Yeah.
And what we found was statistically that passengers actually used the screens slightly more after Starlink was added.
Yeah.
And the big caveat that I mentioned earlier was that this was even while the screens were disconnected. Because of the very fast rollout of Starlink, almost all the airplanes that are flying with IFE, as well as with Starlink, are operating in a disconnected mode, which means that the screen itself is not connected to the cloud to provide all of those more advanced.
Okay, so it's not this real-time connectivity
it's not real-time.
With streaming, etc.
So even with it being disconnected, seatback use actually increased with a 95% confidence level. Yeah. And this is before. So what I'm expecting to see happen is as we connect the seatback screens with a terrific service like Starlink on LEO, and we're able to deliver that passenger logged in, experience, very personalized, that it's going to rise even more.
Yeah. What you did find was there was a slight change in what people were doing when they were on those screens. So talk us through what you found there. Why is that going to be interesting for the airlines to react to when this technology gets rolled out?
Yeah. So we're operating. We provide both GEO services as well as LEO services, multi-orbit. And one of the things that we've noticed is that customers that are using our LEO solution are consuming about 2.5 times more data.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more data throughput coming in through the LEO network. But then it was kind of interesting because what they were doing on board was actually changing. So in the GEO world, most of the time is spent browsing the web and then on the airline's portal.
Okay.
And the airline's portal is viewed by most airlines as one of their digital engagement touch points. And as we see the shift towards LEO, what we found was, yes, the passengers are still focused on web browsing and enterprise applications, but then the next two things that they were doing was social media and video streaming, and they actually crowd out the airline's portal.
So they're logging into their own accounts. Could be a Netflix, or I think you've done
they're
a BBC.
They're logging
a BBC.
out of the airline environment.
Yeah.
And they're logging into a ground environment that is typically not aligned with the airline, which means
they're used to at home, aren't they? This is what they have at home. Yeah.
But the implications for the airlines are they want to attract the passengers to stay in their branded environment is they're going to have to get more creative to keep them there when they install LEO going forward.
How are they going to do that? I mean, they're going to have to up their game to compete with some really
I think
big
this
brands
is good.
out there.
It's good for passengers in the end because we want passengers to have an amazing experience and we want the airlines to run a successful business. And so I think more competition for the eyeball time of passengers and things is going to help bring out a lot more innovation.
Yeah.
And we stand ready to support the airline customers as they want to experiment and explore different ways to digitally engage with their passengers.
Yeah, we've talked about the Leo Geo, there's MEO as well, It does seem, you mentioned Starlink, there are other providers out there clearly, but Starlink really seems to be gaining traction, and big brands have now moved on to Starlink. I know you feel that Leo, if you can have Leo, that's the way to go. And I know you although there are restrictions on Leo because of geopolitical issues, but you are also trying to solve that by having a multi-Leo network solution.
Yeah.
So to explain what you're doing on that side of things.
So today's solution is multi-orbit. And so it's generally focused on providing a Leo experience, except where Leo's not available.
Yeah.
And the Leo networks that are out there today, they're capable of providing service all around the world. The issue is they're not authorized by the governments everywhere to operate that service.
Right.
And so in that case, if you cross a boundary of a line where it's not authorized to operate, we have a geo network that supports the entire world, including those regions. And so that's the best solution that's there today. But going forward, the ultimate best solution would be a global LEO network.
Yeah.
But the problem is the LEOs are either aligned with G7 countries or China, Russia, and the BRICS countries.
Yep.
And I don't see that changing in the future.
Yeah.
And because of that, the only real workable solution in the future is to have a multi-network LEO solution where you can provide the high bandwidth, the low latency, across the world in every single region. I mean, imagine being a passenger and you have a terrific LEO service, you cross, a geographic boundary, and all of a sudden it goes to zero.
Yeah.
And that's that's going to be bad, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And being able to switch networks and be able to continue that sort of experience, I think is going to be a game changer. And Panasonic is the only company that has announced a multi-network LEO solution that will work literally all around the world.
All around the world. And that involves a Chinese provider, which is, remind me of the name.
SpaceCell. They're the number one LEO provider in China.
Yeah. So does that give you now global coverage? That covers everywhere?
Well, so next year, this is going to be entering into service in 27. They're launching a huge number of rockets right now to put enough satellites in space.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to tap that network beginning in 27.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a multi-network LEO solution that will work everywhere.
Yeah.
Polar, every country.
Yeah. For the G7, obviously SpaceLink has done an amazing job putting satellites out there. I mean, they've got tens of thousands, I think, now, have they, flying
impressive,
around?
Yes.
Very impressive. But there are others out there. Do you see this continuing battle for dominance?
But there's going to be many networks in the future. And, just like many things in life, oftentimes one size doesn't fit all. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I'm hearing from a lot of airlines is their fear about long-term lock-in with anybody.
Right.
And so that's another benefit of having a
and
multi-network LEO solution is you're not locked in.
Yeah. The final thing we want to talk to you before we go and see some of the product around the corner in your stand is your announcement today, which was the ability to retrofit or to bring some of the older...
We call it upcycle.
Upcycle, good word. But to make some of the older hardware that you have flying around in many, many aircraft because it's been so successful on the rollout, but to bring the capability of today into that hardware. Explain what you announced today.
Certainly. Airlines desire to deliver a consistent digital passenger experience across their fleet. But the reality is most airlines are operating many different generations of cabin technology. And it spans a really long period of time, like 20 years or so.
For technology,
that's a lifetime.
That's more than a lifetime.
More than a lifetime,
I think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so given today's environment where there's a lot of supply chain challenges around seats, seat integration, the best way that we can help airlines achieve that vision is by retrofitting some of our previous generation technology to bring those solutions to a higher level of capability, so that from a digital passenger experience, it's closer. It will never be the same as our flagship solution, but closer to our flagship solution, so they can provide that experience across. So it's the same screens, same, that are integrated into the seats, where we remove the screens in an overnight and put in new screens that have been upcycled with new electronics inside the same.
So there is a change of screen, but
it's no change of screen.
Okay.
It's the same screen, but with new electronics.
Okay. Right.
And so it's not going to be 4K. It's not going to be OLED.
Yeah.
But given the industry and the challenges in the industry right now, this is the best product for us to be able to help our airline customers deliver that experience. And what I like to say is, Astrova has been amazing and is amazing, but the scale of the retrofit opportunity on the X Series is 3 times the size of the backlog of Astrova.
Okay.
And so there's really an opportunity to have a huge impact, like over 1 million screens of passengers around the world, and to have that impact sooner, just given all the dynamics in the industry and, with the seat programs extending so far, this is a way to do it without having to go through all that lead time and all that cost.
So it can literally be, you can reinstall overnight almost.
Overnight.
Very quickly.
No, that's the plan is overnight.
Yeah, and you expect a lot of demand from airlines for this then?
It's been upgradability has been the number one question for airlines, forever. We solved forward fit upgradability through Astrova, and we're solving retrofit upgradability one time through X Neo, the new electronics option for the X Series.
Okay, cool. Before we go and see some of this stuff, just a quick broad word on the industry at the moment. We're meeting in Hamburg in another difficult time. We talked about geopolitical issues, and they never go away. How do you assess things at the minute in terms of where the industry is? We're super resilient. As an industry, we've had to have gone through and survived COVID. I don't think there's anything else that will ever be as bad as that. so we can be positive about the future, but at the moment there are some short-term challenges, aren't there?
There's been a lot of challenges in the aerospace industry for a long time, and I think to your point, use the word resilience. Like, it is very resilient. People want to travel, and they want to fly, and they'll continue doing so, despite a lot of the challenges we're seeing out there.
Yeah. Look, thanks for that, Ken. We're going to go and have a look at some of the products now.
That sounds good.
We'll get more insight and color on that. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.